God. This is going to be an upset, it looks like. Dad's not doing so well health-wise between August 23 and August 2024. He is shocked. This is almost like a futuristic thing that's happening. The future of the royal family. Somebody who isn't taking it anymore. 8th house is revenge. He's getting some kind of revenge. And hello, everyone. Welcome to Royal Revelations. Yes, everybody wants to know about this and the rumors. Well, I saw a little bit about the conspiracy theory myself on my own channel when there were people who were writing in saying she's missing. And you can really see that the public really wants some kind of control here. When they're not being told something, they want to form some kind of opinion in order to force, at least it's my opinion, force the royals to give us something, some kind of answer. Because even if there's an announcement made in the beginning of the year that she is going to be resting for a month, it's not good enough. Is it our business? Probably not. But we're going to look at her charts to see how she might be feeling overall and what the public is thinking about her. Conspiracy theories. We can look at a lot of stuff with her birth charts and her solar arc. And that's what I'm excited about today, to show you some tricks about the solar arc. It moves pretty slowly, but it can tell you a lot as to what you're experiencing in your life. And we're going to look at the solar arc chart. And that's something I can do for you when I look at your birth chart. And it's called the Spiritual Enlightenment chart reading. And so you have to check that out. With Catherine, I noticed that there are some similarities with Princess Catherine and Princess Diana. So we'll have to take a look at the solar arc chart as well as some other charts. So thanks, Losing Brain Cells. Thanks, Amy. And hello, Raluk. A lot of astrologers use the solar arc as a chart just like the progressions, because really what is happening in a solar arc is that your planets are just moving slightly and they're all in sync. They're together and they're going to be moving counterclockwise, and they make aspects on whatever year you're looking for with your solar arc. But it is, I would say, probably the best way to look at predictions. The solar arc is good for predictions long term, and the solar return chart is good for short term predictions like month to month. Where do you find the meanings of the planets and the signs? You know, a really simple way to do it, because I'd love to tell you a certain book, and there are a couple of really good books out there, but you can just, search for the meaning of a planet on YouTube, and you'll find a couple of content creators that you really like, and then you start following them. And there's some really simple channels that really give you a good idea. But when you go to this channel, you're going to see a little bit of a unique take on some of those planets. So I'll try to remember to give you the simple form when I'm explaining. I'm going to use my new cards, my new astrology cards. And I guess just let's do a card for the show and see how it might explain what we're going to get into during this hour. And this is a show about Princess Catherine and what she's dealing with, and also how we can see what she's going through in her experience and how we can apply it to ours. A reverse sun. Well, the sun is the body. So we're talking about, body issues, maybe. Body issues. Okay, what do you guys think about that card? She's, in my opinion, what we all pictured our daughter as. Just my take. Yes. Yeah. She's perfection. She's a lovely person. And there they are on their wedding day. I mean, have you seen such a beautiful bride? I mean, wow. She was stunning. All right. So here's her birth chart. And remember, I was telling you about the moon The moon is at 18 degrees. Now, the moon and north node together can often show, north node, which is like this little thing here that looks like a horseshoe, that's an emphasizer. It's like basically the planet on crack. And then you put it next to moon and it is extreme. And so with moon in Cancer, moon loves being in Cancer and it's a benefic type of energy, but this means super famous. Moon in Cancer in the 11th house is like hopes and dreams. Everybody knows you. Yet that moon is at 18 degrees. Now, many of us have planets at 18 degrees. It's not a big deal. We just have to keep an eye on them during transits. And remember, when you have your birth chart, you're not stuck with your birth chart. You're going to eventually, those planets move and you're going to be looking at your progressed chart mostly. But 18 and 22 together, this is a potent combination. Marion, you say, I see a delay, or she could not be healing as she wants sun reversed. People who are born during eclipses tend to have a special life. There's always a thought about what anyone's fate is, particularly a royal. And with Kate, she's wearing Diana's ring. There's just a lot of similarities. You wouldn't think at first. They don't really look alike, but they certainly have the same position in a sense. Now, of course, Diana came from a little bit more of an elevated family history than Princess Catherine did. Princess Catherine is, I think that she's probably dealing with some very similar issues that Diana had. Yep, Angel, you're saying long recovery time. Now, we're going to look at what the 11th house for her is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 houses from her partner. So this is a family here with a mother in it. And a mother who isn't a normal mother, you know what I mean? A mother where could be Diana, could be Queen Elizabeth, could be Camilla. Okay, so this is a motherly energy here. And North Node at 22 degrees is, the 22 degrees, kill or be killed. So, that really would describe Diana here. Wow. This we could assign as Diana here. And it's part of this big T square. And that's really the biggest part of her chart that's challenging is when you have a T square, this gets tough. It's a big challenge. And we talked about it before, and I don't want to repeat too much, but the third house is basically your relationships. If it's in Libra's relationships. And then Mars, you've got Harry in here. So Harry, we've got a lot of institutional, a lot of rules, and so it's between Harry and the firm. It gives her a bit of, she just feels a little bit either uneasy or stuck. So this is Princess Diana's chart. Saturn and Jupiter in her chart. And this is in Catherine's chart. It's a little bit different, but it's still the same energy. Now, when you have Saturn, that means to feel basically low, to feel sad, to feel blocked. And this would describe her husband, which would be Jupiter. Jupiter is a sad husband. That's what she'd get. She'd get a sad husband. He didn't want to be with her. And he wasn't thinking right. Jupiter in retrograde, usually a Jupiter retrograde is a husband that's going to disappoint you, which he definitely did. And also with Saturn, it can show that there is a long, long, long period of sadness. So we could see that. We lived through that long period. We saw. So we're looking at this is just her birth chart here. And, we've got this, not to mention, we've got this T square here. Now, with Neptune, Neptune in the 10th is kind of like putting out this fantasy. And it was really a fraud, really, by Scorpio, which would be, the royals or the monarchy, which is what Pluto represents. And it would also create her, I mean, you can see this in her birth chart. This would, she would be part of a major, major scandal, many scandals, really. And what makes them many? Jupiter. Jupiter is a lot of scandals. So she would have to go through a lot of them. And she would make some herself as well. I want to show you the solar arc. Okay. And the solar arc, it is, and this is Astrolab, it is defined as the difference between the position of the progressed sun and natal sun on any particular day. Okay. And it's basically a predictive timing technique. You're going to look at her birth chart here, and you're going to see all of the planets lined up in a certain way. See that? They move synchronized all together, and they move counterclockwise. All right. So you can see Saturn and Jupiter are there. And then over time, Saturn and Jupiter are here. Okay. Now, as they progressed, they came out of retrograde. So that was good. Most of the time, it's usually good. Notice Moon, South Node, Chiron. Moon, South Node, Chiron. So you can see they all stay the same basically, but they just move and then they activate over her birth chart. So it's really your chart activating against or for itself, if that makes sense. You can see that Saturn is moving into her moon as she gets into the age of, I believe this is her solar arc in the 80s. And so Saturn over moon is a deep depression and it's a deep sadness. And so she was really having sati sati with the solar arc here. And that basically is a block. Most people have it and it's just a very deep depression. It usually means they don't have, they're out of a job, they don't have much money. That's for the average person. For her, she would have to deal with a lot of humiliation. That was 1986, okay? I mean, she was in the dumps as early as, I mean, once you get into the mid 80s, you knew what was going on with her. But so there was a deep depression. And when she was in this deep depression, she started to, basically take it out on her body. Now we've got Kate. This is Kate's solar arc. So you can see these, you can see Mars, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter. Remember, Diana had Saturn, Jupiter, but she has Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter all lined up with Mars at the end of it. So this is pretty powerful. And so now they're all moving this way. Now, thankfully, Saturn is not going over her moon. Saturn is squaring the moon. So not only that, but then Saturn is conjunct Uranus. The rules, Uranus is upset. She's a Capricorn. She likes rules. She's okay with structure. But these are upsets to the structure. And the more that there's upset to the structure, the more she suffers, in my opinion, physically, if that makes sense. I know. I just wish she would have listened to them. I know. I know. Another time where Saturn was definitely getting the best of Charles because of humiliation. And remember what that phone call was about? It was, called Tampon Gate. And the reason I say that is because what is that? That's Pluto. So Pluto, you're going to deal with like that stuff and names of things. And my Saturn and Jupiter conjunct in my natal. Well, you know who also has that is Paris Hilton. And she is very thin. She's, she's kind of, you can see that she's got a lot of bones. She's very bony, but very beautiful. Why is she so scared of or intertwined with Harry, I wonder? Well, from what I'm seeing in her chart, and then I'm going to get back to the solar arc because I have a couple more points to make. But what I'm seeing is that when Harry is around, it seems as if she gets along better with her partners, if you know what I mean. I mean, with her inner circle. Things seem better. But when he's gone, it's harder for her to keep control on things. That's from what I'm seeing, and it's my opinion. So it doesn't do her any good to have him gone. Yes, they did. And I know. Sorry. I had to because I have to tell you what a Plutonian energy is. And that would be, I'm sorry, it's a tampon. Sorry for all the men that are watching. I think there's probably like two, maybe not, but not even two. We've got Saturn and Pluto now coming in here, and they're activating Uranus and Black Moon Lilith and squaring the moon. At the moment, it's temporary despair and upset. And her sixth house, if you want to look at her health, okay, her sixth house is Saturn. So you can look at natal Saturn and solar arc Saturn. So this is, I'm afraid to say it, guys, but you know what Uranus means. And, I don't want to say the S word, the U word, but there's a possibility that when you're in this type of energy, you feel like there's no way out. That can be expressed by things that you might be doing to your body or how your body is just reacting to stress. On the one hand, yes, her body is being affected by stress. Yet, I think it's a lot worse. I think it's a lot worse. Just from what I'm seeing here, this is very, very upsetting here. And we want Saturn to move on past Uranus and she'll be okay. Um, thank God she has her mom and the people who love her and care about her. And that helps a lot. That really helps. Unless they're not being supportive. So that could be another part of the storyline. So we've got these 4 planets, they're moving this way. Yet we have 2 more concerning planets here. We've got Neptune, and it has been moving over her personal planets here for quite a while. Neptune is, it can be COVID, it can be just illnesses. Neptune isn't necessarily a great planet when it's moving through the 6th. So she's having to go through that. And let's see. Venus is her career and Mercury is her hopes and dreams. Okay. That makes sense. So Neptune going over both her career and her hopes and dreams, she's not even thinking about that right now. She can't even, like, it's like being in a deep end of a pool. She can't really see ahead. Now, this is going to finish, but it's going to take a few years. This will take a few years, maybe 4 or 5 years for this to go through. And then on top of that, then once Neptune is going through, guess what? Uranus starts moving through the 6th and more ups and downs there. Just maybe upsets or surprises. So it's not something that with Neptune, this can be, depending on how Neptune is acting, it shows a lot of doctors that are around you that are helping you. And so thankfully, there is a nice, and that shows a lot of help from doctors. She is very, very lucky. What's weird though is that Jupiter, which represents her husband and her family, is squaring that type of health care. So it's almost like the doctors are recommending something, but the palace is like, no, she's not doing that. Now, Neptune can also be therapy too. So maybe they're recommending something that has to do with Uranus here with a sextile to Neptune. That's something that's cutting edge types of stuff. So I think the palace is doing its best to play down what's happening right now. For Catherine, it's a whole different world. She's not like any of us. Um, she has a lot more pressure, a lot more of everything, a lot more care and doctors around her, but it's hard to imagine how she feels. This is an ongoing thing. I I don't see that things are going to be just all hunky dory in the next month or two. This is over a few years. She's going to have several things that potentially could crop up. But the good news is that she has so much support and other resources that she's going to be able to get through it. I know she does. It's just amazing how her Saturn, solar arc Saturn, is conjunct Uranus. And um, I'm convinced that that really hurts your mental state. Um, and obviously with Prince William rushing home and not going to certain events, tough there, tough behind the scenes. What Princess Catherine is going through now is what Princess Diana went through to some extent, pretty much in 1986. And notice how their bodies are the same, very skinny. So we're going to look at the solar return chart. And we looked at this before. We are coming up to the end of the second house for her. So this is going to go to March 9th. And so we've got 4 more days. March to April, big month for her. Now, notice that in general, you're going to see Neptune there in the 6th house. Surprise, surprise. Neptune is a mystery, a health mystery, 6th house health, Neptune mystery. And you also have Neptune as conspiracy. So here's the public here. The moon in Sag. So this is like basically the tabloids. And they're all crying foul. They're saying this is a conspiracy or a mystery. And what did they say that she did? Vanish. She just vanished. And so Neptune would come in and act like that. But isn't it weird that it's really focused on March 9th to April 9th? Like, we saw a little bit of it, but I think we're going to see more now. Just so much stuff coming, and it looks like the public is angry about something, or she's experiencing or talking about, third house is what you're talking about, pain. Yeah, it's extra strong and exalted, but guess what? It's getting near some pretty dangerous points of Pisces. So, we don't like that. The outer planets, I mean, they really, if you think about it, Saturn, and a lot of astrologers don't think this, but I do. Saturn will hit you 30 degrees before and 30 degrees after. So imagine, I mean, the outer planets are potent. They also affect. So Neptune is hitting some hard parts for all of us in Pisces right now. So this is March 9th, April 9th, like I said. There is something nice coming in for her, it seems, with Venus right here, and it's trining this North Node. North Node is what you get. She's healing, it seems, that Chiron is to heal. So she's getting something, could be somebody, this could be your sister that's coming in to help her because the third house is sister. Yeah, I think it was her sister's ex that just died. It's possible, they're talking about that. It's going to start really looking like things are moving, things are going fast. You've got this square to the nodes, which is like everyone tells you, no, you can't do that. You've got to rest. So that would probably be, it's going to be April 9th to May 9th. And also I mentioned that there's going to be some kind of historical type of announcement this month. Did I say it was this month? I think I said it was going to be this month because Saturn is kind of like something from history. And so that's January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, Capricorns. But yeah, Capricorns are very tough. She'll be able to do it. Yeah, it doesn't look like medication helps this year. Look at that square to Neptune. So probably not. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for the solar return chart. It's just lots. I mean, that's 4 planets in one house, and that's coming up. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. This is our progress chart. So it looks challenging, and you can see that the moon, you see that moon right there? I mean, when you look at the progress chart, you kind of just only look at the moon unless you're looking long term because that's what moves the fastest. You see how it moved off of Venus? And so now there's a little bit, it's applying to Mercury, which is her. And that's a good thing. That's, she wants that. But, again, we're seeing, God, the ascendant is in Virgo, and that means the chart ruler is Mercury. This is her, and she's in Aquarius with a square to husband. So there's something that's making her not feel right mentally, that Aquarius. Wow. Yeah, there's so much Aquarius and Uranus, it does make me a little nervous. Her Jupiter's, I think it's going to be 2028. So that's when his planet basically changes. Do we have anything to worry about here? I mean, is this something much more serious than what everyone is being led to believe? Oh, the Hermit. Okay. So, yeah, she's feeling alone. That's how she's feeling. Let's get a clarification card. How is she feeling because she's feeling like a hermit? Is it going to get better? Is it going to improve? Page of Swords. So she's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. She's just in a blah period. So I think if we can just avoid some of these conspiracies, because really it is a way to control the royals by having all of this outrage. It just forces them to do something. And I mean, give the woman a break. Give her a month, for God's sakes. Exactly. Yeah, maybe, Darlene. This is a problem, and you can see that in her chart. You can see her brother, or I mean, her uncle. Third house, uncles and brothers, and also the Lord of the Ninth, which is her husband's brother. So much going on there. And oh, you know what? Good call on that. Might be hearing more about brother. He's could be some headlines there. This is court headlines. Weird how it's called celebrity moon, big brother, third house. That's kind of wild. So absolutely we might be hearing more from him. And she's like, no, she doesn't like that. I can imagine in my mind. And so here would represent the third house, her uncle. So a lot of planets in there. an older person maybe who is just talking a lot. Yeah. So this is a solar arc chart. It's a, it doesn't look so bad when it comes to the brother or uncle, because the Lord of her third is in Venus. And Venus is, that's strange. Venus is in the 8th house in Pisces. This is for solar arc. This is a brother that, with a conjunction of Mercury, means brother talks or uncle talks. Isn't that interesting? So that is the energy she's getting. She's getting that from, Harry, which is the Lord of the 9th, or the third from the 7th. Third house is brother from the 7th, which is William. And then the Lord of the third house, which really gives you a flavor of third house of uncle and sibling and neighbor, is up here in the 8th house. So maybe saying the secrets, talking about the secrets. Because of the trines and the sextile, this point of Thales here, it's not harming her. So she's like, whatever, just do what you need to do. Not that she says that about Harry, but it doesn't affect her so negatively. It seems that as if, and I'm just going to come out right away and say it, her husband is a problem from this square here. There is a problem. It could simply be because he's not available. With Neptune here, this shows vanishing. Not, where is he? But it also shows deception too. I mean, I'm just saying what I see. I'm not trying to make up anything, but that, if I saw something like that, I'd be like, how is your relationship? I know she does. I know it's proper. Yeah, whoever is going to be affected by alcohol, it's going to be 9th house related. So probably has to do with Harry. There is something here that's helping her. This is a Uranus. And this could be a person. It could be it could be an ex of some sort. Maybe Harry, somebody who left, maybe he's reaching out to her and making her feel better. Wills would not like that. But I do think that there is a good relationship, a brotherly and sisterly relationship there. What keeps applying to her 4th house of home and family is Black Moon Lilith. It wasn't as strong here, but it gets closer now that we're in March. And, that can color the house a little bit, and very strong too. So it's hard to trust people around you at this moment in time. So, and that would be understandable anyway, seeing as how there are people who speak out and such. There's something wrong. There's something definitely wrong. And she is having to deal with that and health problems and just everything. Everything seems in disarray right now, but things are going to move on a little bit. And there are going to be moments when she can catch her breath. And all of this is for a reason. It's so that, we don't keep carrying on like we have in the past, that new things come in. There's always a reason for something like this to happen. And she just happens to be in the middle of an historic change in the infrastructure. So that is terrifying sometimes, I think. That's pretty much all I have. I just wanted to show you the solar return, or the solar arc, and how just amazingly close it is to the time period, which is around 1986 for Princess Diana. So, I hope that she'll be able to get out of this energy in a short amount of time. But as these months pass, I think there are going to be some things that lift off her and make her feel a little bit better, a little bit lighter, because that Saturn can be really tough. You guys are cracking me up. Okay. All right. So keep a lookout on the community tab and on my Instagram at forensicastrologer.com. Or no, oh, it's forensicastrologer.com and also on Instagram at forensic astrology, forensic astrologer. What's wrong with me today? And I just wanted to show you. Some of you have been asking me about readings, and that's the website you can go to. And I hope you guys have a great week. I am suffering from allergies. I don't know about you, but woof, I hope that passes in the next couple of days. And so, what we're going to keep an eye out on is the eclipse. We've got Mercury retrograde, Mercury retrograde coming up. So, make sure if there's anything you want to buy, any place you want to go, just pull the trigger now because you're going to have to wait for a while. Get on Amazon and order those things, then you don't have any trouble. And a lot of people get inspired to do things during retrogrades. So try to hold yourself back from doing that. And great to see you too, Christine. Thanks, TJ. And I'll be on again tomorrow. So keep a lookout for the times. Talk to you then.